Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
Walking and Rolling Costumes started when my son Reese was born with cancer.
So when I was 3 years old, I got my first wheelchair.
And he wanted to be Wall-E for Halloween that year. And so I knew you couldn't buy a costume to go on a wheelchair at that time, so I knew I had to build one.
My dad ended up building a Wall-E costume out of a Dell computer box.
When we were all finished, he loved it. We took pictures of it and shared it on social media. So many people started sharing it that we started getting requests from people we didn't know.
In 2015, we decided to build them for other kids because people were asking, hey, can you build them for my kid?
So we started the nonprofit organization, Walking and Rolling Costumes, and we build costumes for kids all over the nation, free of charge to the families.
We just wrapped up the regular season for the Challenger Series. We're looking to do the same here in the Cup. It's the same style of venue, but in a different state. Live here tonight from Martinsville. It's going to be short track racing at its finest. Saturday Night Racing League, presented by M&J Distributors, is live on VSPEED. Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper, alongside Connor Horn all season long. And Connor, we had a little fill-in. It sounds like we missed some fireworks last week. We have some post-race suspensions to talk about, some penalty points. A lot went on.
Yeah, a lot went on, and on top of all of that, the points gap's now down to 1 point after Bailey Turner had a tough time at Chicagoland. 20-car pileup, about 20 cars. It seemed like 20 cars were involved in a crash at Chicagoland. Led to a Joshua Banks victory, another one for him this season, I believe his third of the season. So he's got a little bit of a hot streak going into the chase, where he is all but locked in. Remember, those top 16 make it, so that's going to be a storyline tonight. Ben Lafter 5 points ahead of Caleb Weekly, Austin Belke, Donald Kite, Bryce Calusa, they're right there. There's even a few more drivers outside the top 20 that could point their way in. Hunter Sr., Brandon Wallace, Kenny Kibbe, not quite safe, but looking a heck of a lot better. But that battle for the regular season championship down to 1 point. And like we said, Banks, he has his second win of the season, not his third. But his second win of the season has him only 13 points behind Bailey Turner. J.R. Shepard's having a great season, so that's going to be another storyline. And obviously a storyline that we're talking about suspensions is Josh Adams. He's the one suspended. Bailey Turner, an EOL penalty to start today's race. So he's going to have a lot of work to do to come from the back at a track like this, but we're not going to see the 6 car today.
Yeah, it's just crazy to think how big of a points lead you can have, and you're all one mistake away from it all being reset. And I'm sure Bailey probably didn't intend to do that, but I'm sure there was words exchanged after the race, and unfortunately we weren't here for it, Connor. It sounds like the biggest highlight of the season and the biggest story happened while we were off, but we're going to try to make up for it here. Let's try to go green flag racing at Martinsville. How is that going to work out, Connor? You think the tempers are going to kind of boil over here?
I think it might boil over mainly because of the track temp boiling over. We're about 120, 130 degrees. It's going to be a hot race. The track is going to be slick, and with these Gen 4 cars, anything can happen. We've only been here once, and it wasn't a Gen 4 cars, and that race was chaos. We saw AJ Stravato take that victory after beating and banging between a lot of drivers. I don't even believe we finished that race under green. We had a lot of chaos. Half mile, bull ring, paperclip, hot dog, whatever you want to call it. It's a heck of a racetrack. It's a classic on the NASCAR schedule. It's one of the few tracks where the economy of the city revolves around the racetrack. I mean, this is the spot to go in Ridgeway, Virginia. Martinsville, it's just a staple of any series, and I'm glad we're back. The reason you don't go here more often than iRacing, is because it can be chaotic, but it's always great racing. Not a lot of banking. You're going to see drivers trying to wrap the curbing around the bottom.
Yeah, I believe at one point this was removed from the SNR schedule because it was so bad, and they brought it back here for the 5th season. We'll have to wait and see if they end up regretting that or if it pans out to be another great race here. Quality has improved. We've had a lot of green flag racing. We've been spoiled. Bristol was tough for the Challenger Series, but they cleaned it up towards the end. We finished that one under green. Hopefully we get the same here tonight. Race analysis coming up on your screen right here with 200 laps, 35 miles per hour in the pit road speed limit. 5 tire sets available, and I'm sure tire wear not going to be as bad, but it is slick, like you said, 122 degrees on the racing surface, so that might chew up the tires. And I think here with 3 green, white checkered attempts, we're going to probably end up using at least one of them here tonight, but it's the 100% fuel. The 100% fuel load in these cars. I don't believe the Gen 4 had that the last time we were here. I think we were on 80%, so that's going to make it even more loose.
Yeah, I'll definitely make a little bit of a difference. I will eat an edible hat if we have green flag pit stops. I just don't foresee that happening. But in case you do, you're probably going to run the fuel out, like a lot like what you would do at Bristol or Richmond. You're going to run the fuel out before you ever try to make a green flag pit stop and lose a bunch of laps, because you pit too early, you caution falls, you lose 2 laps, your race is over. So that's something these drivers are going to have to be aware of if they get to that point.
Well, let's get to your grid with the 05 of James Lehman. Going to start on the top spot at 20.116. He beats Chad Klinger by 0.2 of a second. 09 going to start to the outside. Row number 2 goes to Joshua Banks. Jeff Wright will start in 4th position. Then you have J.R. Shepard and Joseph McWhorter, 5th and 6th spot. 7th goes to Hunter Sr. Kenny Kibbe starting in 8th. And rounding out the top 10 with Ben Lafter, Dakota Floyd looking to make up some points here tonight.
Dakota Floyd, he could have a pretty good night tonight. We'll have to wait and see. 11th, and Ben Lafter is the one on the cut line. Have to watch him. Brian Carwile, he's probably not going to make it, but he maybe has an outside chance to start 11th. Bryce Calusa will start in the 12th position. Nick Hapiak, the 06, starts 13th. Angel Horonis, 14th, after being one of the many drivers caught up in that big crash last week. Rob Hamp, 15th. Elliott Butler, the Taco Bell car, 16th. 17th position, Caleb Weekly, the number 13 Trevor Project, Monte Carlo. Michael Jones, the 22 Ford Taurus, in 18th, and rounding out the top 20, right behind Caleb Weekly. 19th position, I believe Case Licatis in the 50, and Bailey Turner, EOL, no practice. And I believe he said he was a little bit intoxicated, so we'll see how that works out. He only has that 1 point gap to Jeff Ray, but he starts back in 20th.
Well, that's how you handle Martinsville when you have to start from the back. Jeremy Miller will start in 21st position. Chuck Sweeting electing not to take a time as well. 23rd goes to Bryce Shoemaker. Eddie Trejo in 24th. Philip Brewer, who won at Bristol, see if he can go back-to-back in SNR. Christopher Hodge is going to start in 26th. Matt Shadowski, Brandon Wallace, Stephen Davis, John Sanu, and Austin Belkey, with actually the 24 starting behind him. Here we go for 200 laps at the paperclip. James Lehman gonna lead him into turn 1. We're live and racing, Saturday night style. Green flag is out at Martinsville.
Well, in Dakota Floyd, Ben Laughter's in a heroic.
It's the parking lot down the front stretch.
Absolute pile up. Talking about Ben Lafters right on the cut line. He was one of those drivers who got turned around. Elliott Butler's got big damage. I think that started with Kenny Kibbe or something. Someone missed a shift.
Somebody misses a shift there right out the gate. Watch this. This is probably the best angle we can show of it, Connor.
Started around Kibbe. I mean, just like Chicagoland, it's like we didn't miss anything. Yeah, right there. Kibbe doesn't go. Floyd gets hit by Calusa. I mean, just there's everyone.
That was
about at least a dozen
19 cars, I believe, involved in that. That started around, what, 9th position? All the way back to 28th?
Kenny Kibbe, it looked to start with him. He started in the 8th position, so a lot of drivers involved. Kibbe might have gotten away with it. A lot of drivers who didn't.
Back this up.
Good to do here. Go green about here, going, right there. Kibbe almost like he jams the brakes, but he misses his shift, so it's not going to go any faster. Dakota Floyd, nothing he can do.
Hines catch up all over the racetrack.
I bet there is. There's front bumper somewhere, that's for sure, and the rear bumper. He might have gotten some of the worst end of that deal.
And we were barely up to speed.
That's the thing with the initial start being on green. You're going to have all these cars stacked up, and it's not uncommon that you're going to see something like that happen.
The admins have a lot to unpack. We've got a lot of cars down pit road right now. And Rob Hamp has already taken an exit to this one in the 4 car. But involved in that incident, we had Dakota Floyd, Nick Hapiak, Bryce Shoemaker, Eddie Trejo, Elliott Butler, Matt Shadowski, Stephen Davis, Bailey Turner, Christopher Hodges. I can keep going.
You might as well, although
Bryce
we are going green.
It was chaos here. I think they're going to delay this.
We have to wait and see. A lot of drivers got caught behind the pace car, so if they don't delay it, it's going to be chaos. It's a shame for Rob Hamp. He might have been the only driver in the race that got the meatball flag for that, so really unfortunate as yellow didn't get extended. So we'll see the pace car pace around pit road. They'll come back out, then go back in, and we'll go green again.
I think this is going to be a busy guy today.
The pace car is going to lead a lot of laps. For James Lehman's sake, I hope he leads a lot of laps. He's needed something to go his way. He's got the speed, just can never get the finishes. He got 8th place last week, led 5 laps. Wasn't too bad, but I'm sure he's hoping for more. So we'll get closer to the pace car, and no one really was able to repair much damage, but we're somehow only down Rob Hamp. Like I said, it's a shame. He's the only one that got the meatball flag. We're getting ready to go green. Or are we? No, the lights are back on.
We'll delay one more time here. We're going to continue to watch the iRacing pace car. We'll get it green one more time and a try. Let's see if James Lehman.
Let's see what he does. Chad Klinger, different look to his car. I don't know if that's supposed to be a different look or spec map's not working. Mr. Banks going for 2 in a row. Left, right, trying to continue to dominate. His car's off, and I would think maybe this time we get the actual green flag again.
All right, let's try it again here from Martinsville. The first 100 feet, 19 cars were damaged. Let's try it again on lap number 7. Green flag is out. Let's start it off for the final race of the regular season.
Oh, big contact. Klinger tried to fight to the bottom. And I think he actually had to pit for a penalty or something. And he tried to get in front of McWhorter, and he couldn't quite make it work. And now McWhorter might have a little bit of right front damage on that fender.
Left right to the outside. There's the 09 of Jack Klinger coming in. I believe it was a start violation there. And the initial start must have got a black flag for passing the leader.
Didn't quite see that. Obviously, we didn't get to really see that, but whatever penalty he got, he's going to end up serving it. He's probably going to go at least 1 down, and probably only 1 down. But kind of caught McWhorter off guard. He definitely has fender damage on that 73, but for the most part, we've at least made it 1 lap, somewhat strung out at the front. Klinger actually might have avoided going a lap down. That's shocking to me.
Pass-through penalty for the 09, but he's going to be right on the edge of it. He's 17 seconds down here.
Oh, spin down the back. 22 car, Michael Jones, Bryce Calusa, and Chuck Sweeting. Huge hits.
And another crash here on lap 12. Heavy damage for the 22, and the 20 hit the pit barrels.
That's where he laid the rest. Chuck Sweeting 7th in points. That's Bryce Calusa's day done. Probably the 22 of Michael Jones done. 22 spun. I didn't see quite why. Kind of squeezed Case Lakatos in the wall a little bit, and sometimes when drivers swerve at the last second, you might be unlucky in that aspect. This looked like whoever was in front of Calusa swerved pretty last minute, and then there's just nowhere Calusa to go. Sees smoke, he gets on the brakes, and then he sees him. It's too late. There's nowhere for Chuck Sweeting to go there either. Bryce Calusa is one of those guys who could have pointed their way in. Not going to be the case tonight. Bam. Big hit.
Watch this one more time from the blimp camera. See if we can get a high. Trying to find a high-rise look here.
There's a Goodyear blimp up there somewhere, although we're not sponsored by Goodyear. There it is.
There we go.
See if he does squeeze him. Right here. Some room to the Lakatos in the wall, but you're not really going to the wall if you're the 22. You're trying to pay attention to where the driver is. And I assume Michael Jones thought Lakatos would go higher, and that wasn't the case. Just kind of came up. Lakatos fortunate that's all he got out of that crash.
That's going to double us back up again, and you can see the amount of cars coming on and off of pit road with the 22 down there right now. The 21 of Trejo coming back out onto the racetrack. Pretty clean car. I think for the most part, Trejo just repairing some minor bends on the fender from that first incident. He's got to cycle back around this racetrack as we are set to go back green. 15 laps in. Already hearing a lot of chatter on the radio here, Connor, about taking it easy.
We'll see if they can practice what they preached. We're 50 laps in, and it has not been great so far.
Let's try it again. Green flag back underway.
Oh, already crashing McWhorter. Another one. Another parking lot. Ben Laughter again. 24's in it. 29's in it. 57's in it. Goodness. That is the second one.
I believe the admins are going to be reminded quickly of why they discontinued this track a few seasons ago.
Well, That had nothing. It's had nothing to do with the track so far. That was Joseph McWhorter missing a shift. That's 2 of the 3 yellows on missed shifts. That has nothing to do with the track. Just like Kenny Kibbe, he gets away with it because the crash is behind him. Right there, it just completely stops going and they just can't react in time. Ooh, boy. It's another 15 cars or so. A lot of them probably in the first crash.
I would say statistically you are correct.
Dakota Floyd tried, but eventually someone's gonna pile in. Saw Bailey Turner, he came out of that with no front end, so he's got big damage. Lakatos, Dakota Floyd, Carwell, 16, 60, 13, 15. It's easier to ask and say who wasn't in the crash. Once again, you have drivers stuck behind the pace car from the 09 back to, I believe, the 21, which is kind of the case of when a crash happens at a track this small, the pace car is going to put those drivers behind them. I counted only six cars behind the pace car who didn't come down to repair something. It shows how big of a crash that was.
And I'm not entirely sure, but Joseph McWhorter is back to 11th, if they're going to give him an EOL penalty on this one or not.
I don't believe they've been EOLing people who cause yellow, so I would assume not. He got away with it.
So James Lehman is getting free laps led, 19 now, and he'll come around for 20.
I bet he's loving it, that's for sure, as we're going to get doubled up. We'll see if we go green this time or not. Delayed it last time for this exact scenario, and we'll see if that's the case. Pace car's going to go off for now. As everyone else is catching up, it looks like we will go green this time.
Well, let's see it. Back underway. Lap 20, half the field didn't get caught back up.
Banks going to get the second through this, so it's worked out for him to get to that runner-up spot. Stephen Davis up the racetrack, almost got into Lakatos. He's found himself in 7th through all this madness.
Stephen Davis to the inside. That's Chris Hodges in the 15 on the high line. Down the backstretch for the 73. So, 2 chaotic starts to this race. Lap 23 underway. You're watching some side-by-side action. This is for the top 10.
McWhorter, not much damage. Caleb Weekly up the racetrack. Couldn't see why they slipped up, but still going straight, still going green. McWhorter back into the 9th position.
Overshot the corner and slid up a little bit.
Yeah, just missed the corner. That's all that was.
Now at the back into Lehman. Banks is all over.
I have to say, I think Banks is a touch faster right now. One thing we've been preaching since we got this new Gen 4 car, how bad Dirty Air is. I don't think it'll make much of a difference today at a track this small and the corner so slow. I don't expect to see many drivers trying to use the chrome horn, but we'll have to wait and see. So we got a spin, turn 1, 2. It's like Chad Klinger and Eddie Trejo.
Caution's out here on lap 25.
Caution number 4.
You got it.
I'm sure 4 more than the drivers want at this point. Ooh, that is Klinger just booting Hunter Sr., then Trejo also booting the 09, and then Ben Laffer gets another piece of this one. He has not had a good start. Somehow 09 doesn't have that much damage, but the people who do have damage, they're all going to try to repair it and come down to pit lane. Once again, you're seeing probably 2/3 of the field pitting because of damage repair, while the other ones stay out and take the track position.
This racetrack, it's going to be just like Bristol, where you're going to get about 20 seconds or so to get damage repaired, and about the time that you hit that stall, pace car is going by pit entrance in 3.
There's a lot of people who need a lot of damage repair as well, so you're not going to get much of that done. And you're just trying to not get lapped while doing this as well.
Look at the flood of cars coming out of pit.
That's going to continue for a while. I mean, these drivers have a lot of damage to repair. It's not like it's only 20 seconds. Most of these drivers are missing fenders and missing front ends already, and we're only about an eighth through this race.
So James Lehman getting these laps led. He's going to total out at 30. Hasn't been contested for the lead yet, but it's hard to get into a rhythm with these yellow flags the way they've been falling here tonight. Take another look at the weather as well. 120 degrees, the track temperature, still greasy, still hot. Connor, I gotta say, right now, the way it's sitting, I'm not surprised, but I'm also not surprised that we get green flag racing here for the next 60 laps or so. That wouldn't surprise me at all. We've seen it before where these races, I think, jitters and maybe a little anxiety of what this place could be. It should iron out.
Was that the way it's see? It should iron out at the front like it has the last few times. That 35 might be a touch faster than Lehman.
Here we go, back underway on lap 30. Side by side into turn 1 to the outside for Joshua Banks. Gonna pinch down. Might take over the lead here. Banks has got it on the high line.
See, if he had more faith in Lehman, he would have came down in front of the 05 there, but he doesn't want to get himself wrecked on accident. But that was the best you could do in 1 and 2 to pinch the driver in front of you down. But he just couldn't quite make the pass, and now Lehman's in the better spot, and you see the 35 losing more and more ground.
On board with the 35 of Joshua Banks. Look at how much wheel he has to put into this car to keep it down there. And it's still just not enough. You're on that high line. You really want to be down near that rumble strip.
His tire's going to wear out more and more. You're on the outside. And if he doesn't get down now, he might not get down because Jeff Wright is right there, but he's able to find that pocket to the inside.
Just enough of a gap there in front of third place. You got side by side back here. The heavily damaged 24 of Bailey Turner. Racing with a previous winner in the Challenger Series, Bryce Shoemaker.
Not too much side by side, but there is some. Ahead of them, you got Joseph McWhorter. Agent Hearns just shoved the 54 wide right there after Bailey Turner got past. McWhorter still trying to move back up again through the field. 12th, 13th position. He's up to 12th. Picata's starting to move backwards. Dakota Floyd right in front of a 73 for position. He's got no rear bumper. I can't imagine how that's going to work at a track like this. Can't get the bumper if you don't have a bumper. Oh, he got the bumper.
He found it.
I spoke too soon.
And enough to trigger a yellow. You saw it live there. Well,
I feel like I partially am to blame for that. He certainly got the bumper regardless of not having one. He just got booted. There's nothing else you can really say about that. The driver, that's the second time where the driver behind has to be aware if the guy in front of him's braking earlier. Well, you have to be aware of that. And it didn't seem like McWhorter was aware of that. And just punted him. More pit stops, more damage repair. Here comes half the field. Interested to see if Joshua Banks can replicate that in 1 and 2, what he did around the outside, and if he was able to do that again, he might just come down and take the risk of maybe getting booted by the 0-5 accidentally, because it's going to be hard to make that pass for the lead at this rate of green flag runs.
Kenneth, we can confirm we do not have a crystal ball up here in the VSPEED broadcast booth.
Oh, if I did, I would have knew the 57 was going to get booted without a bumper. I said the exact opposite.
Sometimes it's more of a mysterious thing in the universe where we speak words and they come true.
I have a feeling there's a lot of crashes that are going to come true. Almost had a crash on pit exit between Floyd and Ben Lafter. This is not what Ben Lafter needed with all this damage. He only came in it tonight 5 points ahead of Caleb Weekly for that final spot in the chase, and Caleb Weekly isn't in the best position either. They've got a lot of damage. The 64 really is not looking good.
They were rubbing fenders off of pit road. Actually, it started all the way back here. Let's back this up even more.
They can't lift for each other because they took the max amount of time they could without getting lapped. They had to pass the pace car through 1 and 2, and there's not room for 2 wide off of pit exit, so they hit on pit exit. See what type of run we can get here. Like I said, still, I want to see Banks do that again, but actually have the aggressive trait to get down in front of James Lehman. That's going to be tough to do.
Especially now that we've got a couple heat cycles in these tires, and with Banks being on the outside, probably wore his stuff out a little bit more than what James Lehman has going on. Green flag back underway. 6th time. We've seen Barney the flagman work that arm. But officially 2 lead changes.
Banks
leading the lap.
Banks couldn't quite time it as well. Belke got booted into turn number 3 and another caution.
And Joseph McWhorter is sitting in the middle of the track here.
I think that was another one off his front bumper, and he's just sitting there like, oh, well, so be it, I guess. Yeah, that looked like that was off his front bumper again. Everyone did a good job avoiding Belke. Yeah.
This time, not so
Pretty
much
simple.
a boot.
I guess more of a hook. I don't know, maybe he thought Belke was giving him the bottom for a 3-wide move. Not quite sure. He looks to be inside late, and I guess he's looking for that 3-wide move and just turns the 89. Like I said, everyone did a good job avoiding. I don't think anyone else really got damage out of that.
Let's take an on-board look here with Bryce Shoemaker.
See 73 kind of pop out there, way up ahead, and then the 89 spins. Then, oh boy, the 89's coming down over the curbing. Yellowwood curbing is going to be completely black by the end of this, although Belke still called it a night. Decided he wants no more of this.
Well, it's been a rough one to say the least so far here from Martinsville, but we are going to take a quick commercial break. Live on VSPEED, you're watching the Saturday Night Racing League from Martinsville. More coverage will continue in just a moment. Saturday Night Racing League is ready to bring flag-to-flag coverage live here on VSPEED.
2.5 mile, 31 degrees of banking, open back February 1959.
Coming by the lead lap number 1, Jeff Wright by about 0.02 of a second gets that lap led. Across the line, Bailey Turner with 2 tires is going to get the victory.
Virgil is going to steal the win at Kentucky in unbelievable fashion.
Another lap.
Back here live from Martinsville, we jump to it. You're watching a side-by-side battle for the lead as we get back to the action. It's Joshua Banks fighting James Lehman. We've had about 20 different cars involved in an incident, but most of this top 10 is clean. And you're watching a hard-fought battle for the top spot as Banks continues to hound the 05.
And even if he doesn't clear him, this is his best shot at getting the lead. If the yellow was going to come out, if he's in the lead at the right time, he could get the scoring loop to go his way.
He's going to get a really hard drive into 1 and 2 right there. We'll have the nose advantage going in. Nose advantage coming off. He's got it. Just barely.
You just can't come down in front of that guy without him probably booting you on accident, though. I mean, you can't risk that, and he doesn't want to risk that. As long as Lehman can stay to the inside, that's contact right there. As long as he can stay to the inside, he's able to keep that lead for at least a little while longer, but more of that, and he's going to be crashed. He's driving in so hard because he knows if Banks gets this lead, he might pull away.
This has been going on now for about 7 laps.
Yeah, I think Banks is a better car. This might be the moment right here. He's going to get a pretty good exit. Lehman couldn't quite get the power down. If he wants it right there, he could take it, but Banks chose not to. I think this time by he's going to have it. He's got a lot of clearance on the 05.
So the first official lead change of the night puts Joshua Banks up to the top spot. 35 car. Man, that outside line, I've never seen it work that good.
We'll see if it hurts him on the long run at all, if it hurts his grip as we get these heat cycles in these tires, because he had to work extremely hard to get that lead away, even while being in that second lane, even while pinching down the 05. So got so many drivers trying to work their way back through the field. Bailey Turner is up to 12th. He just passed Matt Shanowski for that position. Caleb Weekly battling a completely destroyed 64 car Ben Lafter. That's not for position even. I believe Lafter's at this point down a few laps, 2 laps to be exact.
Caleb Weekly battling Stephen Davis behind there. Philip Brewer ahead of the 13. Here we go into 1 and 2. You see how hard he's driving into the corner, entering late. He's gaining a lot of ground, but it's the drive off right here. And he's going to have to be careful. Every time you send that car deeper and deeper into the corner, you're burning off that right front, and eventually it's not going to turn off the exit.
And you got to really balance your brake bias a lot here. I really like a more rear-centered bias in a car like this, at a track like this, just to get that center rotation and kind of save that right front a little bit. But the drawbacks of that, this is a track notorious for wheel hopping. If you hit the brake at a wrong spot, not fully straight, whatever the problem may be, if you brake wrong, you could end up spinning on entry, and you got to be real careful of that. But I like more rear bias at a track like this where you're likely to burn that right front tire. But you got to be careful on corner exit because you're going to be burning the right rear tire, throttling up hard on exit as well. Got to be aware of that. How about Chad Klinger? He had the penalty, tail and lead lap. He's looking for a top 5 position.
Battling there with Kenny Kibbe for the 5th spot, looking for the top 5. Not sure if he got moved out of the way or if Klinger was able to just get the nose in there. Get close again here in 1 and 2. Kibbe's kind of leaving that entry into the corner open. And anytime you leave an opening here, somebody's going to put their nose in it.
That's the predicament about this track. You don't want to enter shallow and exit shallow. You want to widen up that entry so you can hit the apex, the center of 1 and 2 perfect. But whenever you open up that entry, if there's a driver directly behind you, they're going to see that as an opportunity and be like, oh, they're giving me room to the bottom. I'm going to take that. And that's how you get collisions happening. So that's the line Kibby's running is really what you want to run, but if Chad Klinger gets close enough, he's going to take that to his advantage.
They are not able to get back underneath here, and we watch back up front, the 2nd through 4th position. There's J.R. Shepard, who has a victory this season. Looking for maybe his 2nd. Let's watch the 98.
And right now, it's whoever gets by James Lehman first. Lehman slipped off a 4, and that let Jeff Wright get to the inside of the 0.5. I think it seems like Lehman usually is good for short run pace. He's kind of struggled to start this race, has not really had the chance to get away at all, and now he's starting to fade. Jeff Wright looking to win the regular season title, gonna try to get that 2nd spot, but Lehman hanging a little bit tougher than he probably thought on that right rear quarter panel, but I believe the 48 will have this.
And I can feel it now, Connor. We're starting to get into a rhythm. Lap 62 underway, coming by for lap 63. The other side of this, a lot of cars came down pit road for damage repair, and I'm sure some of them might have grabbed a set of tires, and definitely going to take fuel. We got some guys out here that are only 20 laps, 25 laps on the stint, so watch a pass for 3rd. But you watch the entirety of this top 5 will have to come down sooner than the rest of this field.
Yeah, I'm not sure if anyone can make it. If we get there, we'll have to wait and see. We definitely know the guys who have a pit won't be able to make it, but definitely question marks on those drivers who've been back and forth on and off the pit road, repairing damage and just taking that extra splash of fuel. So could be interesting if we get to that point. We're a long ways away from that as Lehman continues to slip. Now he's down to 4th. Kibby's 5th, then it's Klinger, Hapiak, Jeremy Miller, Butler, and Hunter Sr.
Battle on the front stretch with Casey Lakatos and Eddie Trejo. Actually, that's the 71 of Ryan Carwile that's getting past. And Caleb Weekly going to look to the inside for the top 20 now into 3.
And Trejo just in front of that battle, actually, so he's pretty much in that same spot. Big positions for Caleb Weekly with Ben Lafter trapped 2 laps down, running in the 26th position. Remember, he came into tonight roughly 5 points behind Ben Lafter, so if he could just finish 5 or 6 positions in front of that 64, he'll likely be in the chase.
Here's a look at the points again. 5-point separation on that cutoff mark.
And that's Chris Hodges, not Churs Hodges in 10th.
Yeah, sometimes my keyboard malfunctions.
So that's what we'll call it. Have some lap traffic come into play. We'll see if that comes more into play, but Brandon Wallace, Ben Lafter, they're going to be right in front of the leaders. And ever since Jeff Wright got the 2nd, he's been chasing down to 35.
Here's the question. Last time by, it was about identical lap times. You can see on the left-hand side of your screen. Now navigating lap traffic, that might have been the situation there. Let's see what it is this time by.
It looked like the 48 gained again, about half a tenth, maybe that lap, but he's just a lot faster. He's able a lot smoother. Well, I don't know about smooth. He definitely wiggled off of turn number 2, but he's definitely faster.
A little loose there off the corner. It seems like he's a lot lower. You see the drive off there for the 35 this time by. Gave that time back.
Now, more battles happening through that traffic. Chad Klinger, Jeremy Miller just swapped positions. That's for the 6th position. Oh, Brandon Wallace sliding turn 3, single car spin. It's not a caution somehow, but I don't know how you get out of this without a caution. Falling, and there it is. I cannot believe that. It took that long to get the yellow. Well, this will make the pit sequence a little bit more interesting. I would think you see everyone pit here. This might be your only stop. Not a lot of grip outside the top, those bottom 2 lanes, and even Nick Hapiak had his own issues. The Wallace went around, and somehow it didn't trigger the yellow being down there.
That's
when
the,
he tries to get back going. Yeah, it's the yellow zone, and it didn't trigger the yellow until he came out of the yellow zone. Dakota Floyd probably got a real big scare. As this should bring everyone in the pit road. Looks like Joseph McWhorter, I believe he might be the lucky dog, so he'll be back in action. This could be everyone's one stop, so track positioning out of pit lane here might be pretty important.
We expect 4 tires and a full tank of fuel on every one of these cars. Would not surprise me.
Did have some drivers stay out, whether they meant to or not. Looks like Ryan Carwell's going to pit. Looks like Case Nakatis might stay out, and pit exit is tight, but I think Joshua Banks just got the spot.
And most importantly, no black flags for speeding.
That has been an issue for Banks a lot this year. At least twice, I think he's sped and taken himself out of contention. Looks like James Lehman's going to pit again. Don't think he got a penalty, but he's going to bring it back down the pit lane.
So taking a look here at the paperclip, Connor, and he called it a hot dog, and I have to say that's pretty accurate. Martinsville, notorious for the hot dogs. Have you had one?
I have. I usually don't get everything on it, which I know is probably frowned upon if you're getting a Martinsville hot dog, but I don't need the busyness of the hot dog. It's just some. I only need some mustard, man. That's all you need, I think, for a good hot dog.
You don't need any of this on there?
Nah, I don't usually use ketchup, but you can. I don't disown anyone who does. Maybe Joseph McWhorter does. That's why he hit him.
Ah, there you go.
He's McWhorter's a mustard guy. Case Licata stayed out. See how this plays out, I suppose. You pick the outside.
33 laps on the stint, and probably about 20 of those under green. Let's see why it couldn't work out for some track position, but how long will it last for the lead? Green flag starting on the outside. Licata's going to take it high into 1. He's going to go way out wide. He's going to hemorrhage him out 3 spots right here.
Wouldn't surprise me if that was the plan, to just try to get out of the way a little bit. But either way, he's falling back. Banks keeps the lead. Wright gets back the second. Tara Shepard back the third.
On his way up the racetrack again. He's going to lose about 4 more spots. Crushes the wall.
Everything is pretty much sorting itself back out. 4th place is side by side. Miller and Kibbe for that position. Chad Klinger right behind it. Looks like the 30's going to get that spot. Kind of chaotic behind them. You got Hunter Sr., Bryce Shoemaker side by side. 24 Bailey Turner and Elliott Butler, 2 damaged race cars, battling for the 12th position.
.24 on the inside. That is the 16 of Elliott Butler that you're watching. And there's the 13 of Caleb Weekly. Just overshot the corner again a little bit. It looks like a 2-for-1 for the 24.
24's got to do everything he can if he wants to get some regular season championship bonus points. At this point, he's probably going to have to win the race with how good Jeff Wright is driving right now. Remember, ever since the beginning of Season 4 at Daytona, this guy's led the points, but 1 point difference away from that changing. It almost certainly will change no matter what with how many wins Jeff Wright has on the season. Oh, spin. Caleb Weekly into the outside wall.
And that's about 18 laps shy of the halfway mark. Another caution.
And that didn't seem like too big of a hit, but the whole deck lid and rear bumper is gone. It looked like Stephen Davis was the culprit. Weekly was giving up positions. Davis gets a run off of 2. Hard charge of the inside, and arguably too hard. Didn't even make the bottom of the racetrack, and looked like he locked the right front up.
So that's more damage to repair for the 13. Or do you stay out here?
I mean, if you're at the front and you think you can make it on fuel, if you want the track position, you stay out. But if there's fuel strategy here and you're trying to make it on fuel, maybe you pit here. Looks like Turner, Butler, they pit. And then it's about back to the 18th position. Dakota Floyd, the next driver to pit.
I'm really surprised, though. I know this might play into a strategy later on, but to see Bailey Turner come down pit road, I mean, he gained a lot of positions. Maybe that car's just not handling yet.
Not handling, and he's still got a lot of damage to both the front fenders, and that's going to always make the handling a little bit worse. He's getting that right front buffed out, then it's going to be the left front. 16 of Butler doing the same thing. Eddie Trejo, I'm not sure he's going to get that thing repaired. It's so damaged. He's been repairing it since lap 1. Same for Ryan Carwile, and thank goodness for ghosting on pit road. Otherwise, Michael Jones would have been sent to someone's pit crew.
Beat the pace car just in time. Lights are still on. Should rack them back up double file in just a lap. Half a lap now as we go through 3. So Joshua Banks, who took over the lead. James Lehman in the 05. It's falling back to 12th. So it seems like maybe a little bit of conservation from some of these drivers, but nothing official. We don't really know what the track state, is doing to these tires, and we haven't really gotten into a rhythm. Watching the side-by-side with Banks and Lehman earlier, I don't know that it really hurt Banks too bad.
I'm not sure. We haven't seen it. The 48s looked a touch faster. At longest run, where the 35 got the lead was probably about 30 laps, and 48 definitely looked a touch faster. If he gets a good enough restart, is able to hang on that outside like Joshua Banks did, maybe we'll see if that 48 can flex his muscle.
Here we go, back green.
Oh, we missed a shift. Another missed shift. 48's in the wall. 30's in the wall. The third pileup caused by a missed shift. This one wasn't as bad. The Lehman's backwards. That is the third time this race a missed shift has caused a pileup, but it seems like people were aware that time that it was going to happen because not as many people were turned around because of it. But Jeff Wright, he missed a shift and he actually got a lot of damage. The front end's ripped off that 48. That might have been the most impressive part of the night with what James Lehman was doing, but we'll see. Second outside front row, 48 gets going, hits the gas, and then he stops. And nothing Miller, Klinger, Hunter Sr., nothing they could do. James Lehman got booted by McWhorter in that crack stack up. Chad Klinger got a big piece of damage out of it. And Lehman figures, oh, I'll throw it in reverse, get it around the corner. Chad Klinger is going to exit this race because of it. Yeah, right there. 05 just gets the boot out of nowhere. Looks like Christopher Hodge just got damage out of it. She just throws it in reverse and starts passing cars. Almost ended badly when he hit the wall here. And then did that. Almost got Dakota Floyd and Christopher Hodges, so almost wasn't cool. Miller stuck a lap down. He'll need to take the wave. That might let Joshua Banks breathe a sigh of relief because the 48 might be the closest driver to him from what we've seen tonight. And now that 48's got a whole chunk of front end taken off the car.
I fixed the typo. That's what I was doing while you were gone. Or while you were chatting and keeping things alive. Still a lot of cars. Yeah. Yeah, I've been working on it. One day. these days.
Let's see if we can get the turn one. It's been the main battle today. We'll see if Jared Shepard has anything for Joshua Banks on the outside. And the 48 also stayed out with that front nose ripped off.
He's thinking track position, but I don't know how much he can keep with that car looking that way. Here we go, back underway.
Got away good this time. 98 really couldn't get going, so Banks has a free roam into turn number 3. Kenny Kibbe might try to get second away.
Challenging there off of turn 2. He'll look into 3 with the nose. 98 to Shepard. This is deep in the field. Matt Shanoski.
Stephen Davis was in there. Lakatos was in there. 24 Bailey Turner's in the middle of that. Jeff Wright finally able to get to the bottom. Now he's in the 5th spot. We'll see if he can keep any pace up without that nose. Stephen Davis going to be odd man out on the outside. Bailey Turner got to his inside.
So Hornets Nest back here for 10.
Turner's going to get it. Davis trying to force his way to be inside. Definitely made sure he was going to get that. Forced Elliott Butler to the outside. Now he's in a bad spot. Matt Shanoski can take advantage, but he's not quite close enough to do so.
And it spreads out here for the top 4. You've got Joshua Banks about half a second ahead. Then you have Kenny Kibbe about 7/10 ahead. Another 7/10 back to Nick Hapiak. And then that's where the chaos begins.
Yeah, you got Jeff Wright definitely struggling a little bit. Not really able to get the car turned. It seems like he's lacking maybe a little bit of front downforce. Could be wrong. Definitely tell Bryce Shoemaker center of the corner or even on exit, just able to rotate that car a lot better. And a good run for Bryce Shoemaker so far. Somehow the car is clean. I can't imagine that's going to last too much longer, but into the top 5 he goes.
Just having all your pieces at the end of this one. The trend continues.
It's been a world of a day for Joseph McWhorter. He's probably caused 2 yellows, and if he's caused 2 yellows, if he causes a 3rd one, he's done next week and he can't race, whether he's in the chase or not. But he's found his way in the 6th, as the 48 definitely gonna lose out on a top 10 at this rate. Philip Brewer, who's dominated the Challenger Series, he's up into the 7th position. Bailey Turner's in the 8th. You just watch every pass one by one as the 48 crumbles to the bottom. As you can tell, the speed's just not there.
Yeah, he's just trying to hold on to this car. He needs to dive down to the inside, and I think part of it, he knows that this car isn't up to speed. He probably doesn't want to get in anybody's way.
Davis fired it into turn 3 regardless, though.
Oh yeah, that's Jeff Wright on the outside.
Whoa! Yo, Bow hit him. Oh, he locked it up. Missed the corner. There goes Elliott Butler by. That's going to cause Jeff Wright to lose even more spots. There goes Shanoski by. There goes Hunter Sr. by. Jeff Wright joins the list of, I believe, 2 other modifieds that are running out here. He's 1. I think Jeremy Miller is 2nd in class, and 3rd in class is still Ben Laughter.
You got some cars that are a couple laps down, and between this, you got Dakota Floyd and Chuck Sweeting a lap down. Ben Laughter in the 64 is 4 laps down. Still have 27 cars, 25, somewhere around there. Jack Klinger done for the day. Austin Belke, Bryce Calusa, Michael Jones, and Rob Hamp all behind the wall right now. But it's this man right here that has led the second half of this race that we've put on so far. Lap 103, 56 laps led. Joshua Banks starting to lengthen that lead out a little bit at a time.
And speaking of halves, we are into the second half of this race. We passed halfway at just past 11 p.m. Eastern, and it's really been all 35. He's been since the start, once we've gotten running the fastest car. Once he got by James Lehman, I mean, he set sail. 48 we thought might have some speed for him. That's not the case anymore. And Jared Shepard a touch faster last time by, but overall just can't quite keep the pace of 35 is, and it shows. I mean, these top 4 are really spread out.
Well, it's a perfect opportunity here, lap 105, to find those remote controls and those volume knobs. Let's go ahead and get loud presented by FireStorm Racing. Now presented by FireStorm Racing. Joshua Banks still your leader, navigating some lap traffic. He'll go to the left side of Brandon Wallace in the 99 Dr. Pepper Chevrolet, and Jared Shepard a full second back here, just now getting to the inside in the 99.
Just remember, we got that 30-lap green flag run. Just saying that James Lehman's been sliding. He's right in front of the leaders, and he just about spun in front of Joshua Banks. But remember, I think with Lehman sliding a lot because he's missing that rear bumper, and he just cannot get any grip because of it. So even at a track like this, that downforce still matters. But we got that 30-lap run, and Brandon Wallace ended it with his spin. I'm kind of worried about how much that 05's dancing around. Remember, that was a pass for the lead about 50 laps ago, and now he's getting lapped.
And that's what damage does to you here, and nobody knows it better than Jeff Wright right now. He went around the 5th position, 4th position, back to 15th, continuing to bleed some spots, but I think he's settled out right here around the mid-pack.
And that regular season title, it seemed like it was going to be pretty simple for him to keep it. Now all of a sudden, he's going to need help because Bailey Turner's driven up to the 6th position. He's pretty much repaired all of his car. So Turner now in a good spot to get those extra points. And those, with how many bonus points Jeff Wright's going to get for the wins, the 5 wins he's got this season. Just, oh, as I say that, we got a yellow, it's a spin, and it is James Lehman. Kind of what I feared would happen. We saw him all over the place, and I think he finally just couldn't hold on to it. Just wants to get going. Now he's going to be able to go. We'll see if this brings the leaders to pit road again. It might be a tough one, but it's not really surprising that he spun this car out. No rear bumper, no rear grip, and he gets out of line to let Kibbe by, and he just has no grip. Brandon Wallace comes up on him. He's like, yeah, I've seen that before, as pretty much all the leaders come down to pit. I'm a little surprised, but I'm going to assume that they couldn't quite make it on fuel comfortably, so pretty much everyone's going to pit here.
Joshua Banks leading him down the pit lane at 35 miles per hour.
Here to get in that pit box. Be a pretty important race off pit road. Looks like Banks is going to have it easy. Then Shepard, then Kibbe, then McWhorter, who's all the way up the 4th. Happyack, Turner, Shoemaker, Brewer, Lakatos, and Elliott Butler, the top 10.
Watch this battle off of pit road.
And Joshua Banks has done it again. Oh my gosh, he sped on exit. He has sped on pit exit for like the 3rd time this season, and he's given the lead completely up. Oh my goodness. Ah. His speeding's been so bad, we have a graphic made for him. That is so shocking. No pressure. He has the lead this time, and it's just a mistake you cannot make. And that is really gonna flip the race on its head now, because now you got the front row of J.R. Shepard and Kenny Kibbe.
J.R. Shepard saying, "Hey, maybe this
Joseph
is the
McWhorter.
second one."
Now you have McWhorter in third, and he is right in this race, as is Bailey Turner. I mean, it's completely flipped the race. I cannot believe that.
You gotta remember, McWhorter might be a little conservative here because of those 2 penalties, 2 incidents.
Ben Lafters exited the race, so that should mean he's probably not going to make the chase. That's good for Caleb Weekly, who should be able to take that points position. This should be fun now. I mean, it definitely looked like J.R. Shepard was a touch faster than Kibbe, because Shepard was the only one even trying to keep pace with Joshua Banks, but maybe that 98 hand was a little bit different and cleaner air. Maybe gives a 1473 a little bit of a chance.
Well, let's find out here on lap 120. 81 to go from Martinsville. J.R. Shepard, previous winner, looking to do it again in the final race of the regular season. Martinsville. Good restart here for the 98 machine. He's got Joseph McWhorter getting around Kibbe. Here we go, into 3 and 4.
Kibbe just couldn't quite get on the gas and time it right. That's going to let McWhorter get that runner-up spot like you mentioned.
McWhorter's going to clear, but now it's Bailey Turner. With the way his race started, wouldn't think that we would be talking about him in the top 3, but here he goes looking for third.
Another driver, he had his whole front nose ripped off. He's had enough yellows and enough repairs. He's put it back on, and he's got it looking pretty good. He's looking for a top 3 spot.
Still can't get clear of the 14, though. Got to his door. Trying to get in here through 3. Off of 4. Still out the door.
Kibbe being pretty respectful, giving that 24 a lot of room to race. Not really trying to pinch him down to the bottom like we saw Banks doing to get the lead away from Lehman all those laps ago. But at times, the best run Turner had, just not quite able to get through the center good enough. Kibbe was able to get that strong run on corner exit with that higher line. But you see a 24 just stronger around the center. Just not enough.
Back to the throttle a little bit earlier each time. You start to get frustrated. You want to clear this guy.
If he clears him up too late, he's going to put himself for the fence. And we saw that with Case Lakatos earlier and Michael Jones. And now this time, it's a pretty easy pass. So 24 up to the 3rd position, while those top 2 getting a little bit further away.
Finally able to clear, and Bailey Turner can focus his sights on Joseph McWhorter for 2nd spot. Looking through this field. This is for the 9th position. Matt Shanowski, Casey Lakatos, Bryce Shoemaker in this battle.
That's for the 8th position. Just behind them, you have Joshua Banks. Lost all those spots, lost the lead from speeding. He doesn't have a lot of time. I mean, 75 laps is not a long time at Martinsville. It goes away just like that if you blink. So he does not have a lot of time to get through these guys and get back to the lead.
Lakatos for 8th. To the inside of Shanowski. That leaves the door open for Shoemaker off of 2. He doesn't take it.
Shanowski kind of protecting that inside. Didn't really give him a clean shot to the bottom. Banks trying to get a run around the outside almost. Going to get a better run off exit than Shoemaker. And going to look to try to grab this top 10 position. And I think Bryce Shoemaker just gave it to him out of the groove. It's the thing, if you give the spot to someone, you go out of the groove yourself, you're giving up a lot of grip. And you're not usually ready for it, but there's no grip outside those bottom 2 lanes. You've seen it a lot tonight.
Gotta stay down on that lighter part of the racetrack. That's the concrete surface. And you can see it starting to rubber in. Joshua Banks going to go to work on Matt Shimnowski as Casey Lakatos ahead. But back to the top 10 after a speeding penalty on pit road. J.R. Shepard has the lead. 13 laps led now. The lead stretched out to half a second.
And McWhorter, I thought he might be able to close in a little more. Hasn't really been able to. I think the 24s actually looked a little bit better than McWhorter, but just like the 73, just can't quite make that pass. He's a lot better, gets really close to him in the center, but McWhorter is able to carry that momentum on exit.
Yeah, Philip Brewer into the top 5, has Elliott Butler following him.
So Butler kind of tracking up the racetrack a little bit, trying to get a second line, maybe rubbered in, trying to use that to his advantage, but didn't quite work there. He lost about a 10th to Philip Brewer.
And he overshoots the 3, and that's all it takes. Get that bad exit. Miss that apex. 44 Brewer, though, still has company. Here with Chuck Sweeting.
Might be a battle for position. Matter of fact, it is. Chuck Sweeting, he was 2 laps down. He, I believe, might have taken the wave round. He's finally lap, passing some of these wounded race cars by Jeremy Miller for that 19th position. Another one of those drivers that was, he wasn't really on the cut line. He's safely at 7th position, but definitely wants a better run. It's taken him pretty much half the race to repair that damage.
20 seconds at a time, Connor. How frustrating is it when you get some of that repaired and then you get caught up in something else?
Very upsetting to keep it PG. I mean, you just work so hard to get it repaired under the yellow when you don't have a lot of time at a track like this, and it only takes one driver missing a shift to have to repair it all over again. So I can imagine it's very frustrating as this battle for second's heating up. I think Bailey Turner's starting to show the nose a little more, be like, hey, Joseph, I'm a little faster, let me go, I can get him. Order not budging quite yet. And just looking at the time, says he's really close to the bumper of the 73 this time by. J.R. Shepard a 20.82 last time by. Joshua Banks is a 10th faster, but he's got a long way to go to get to that race leader. He is 4 seconds behind.
Just over 60 laps to go here from Martinsville. Any word on the fuel numbers here, Connor? I'm kind of interested to know if these guys can make it to the end here.
100% fuel tank, and they pit, what, about 30 laps ago. I would say these drivers should be good to go, no doubt. And after pitting a lap roughly 116, they should definitely be good to go.
And you got it. Always on point, Connor Horn.
See if 24 uses the point of his nose to get by the 73 anytime soon. I mean, you don't want to use the bumper because it's been a pretty rough race, but sooner or later you got to go, and he keeps showing the nose in turn 1. McWhorter keeps chopping, and eventually that bumper will be used because if you see the 98 getting away, and if that was a Bailey Turner spot, I already would have booted the 73, but that's just how I race.
And sometimes you need to, but Turner also kind of on a probationary period, lost 20-point lead there, and McWhorter in a warning spot for 2 incidents caused already here tonight.
Like each driver's trying to bait the other into causing him to port a real sideways off of turn 2. But you can't quite get into him or else you're going to maybe not race next week, and you miss a chase race, you're pretty much not going to win the title. But he finally got to his inside, but McWhorter has enough grip, charge up off the outside and keep that position.
Lap after lap ticks away. 142 out of 200.
William Butler just got a little sideways off of turn number 2. I think he might have gotten the boot from the 35 of Banks there. 35's trying to go. This is letting J.R. Shepard get through all this traffic without pressure. Butler up the track. Yeah, I'd say that's a boot. That's what you do. It's about as clean as you can do it from right front to left rear. I'd say Butler slipped off the bottom a little bit, but I don't think it was enough for Banks to stick the nose, but he's got to go, and he's going.
Trying to catch up to Philip Brewer. It's 1.4 seconds back for the 35 car.
Yeah, he still has a long way to go as we get back live on the racetrack, so he's still got so much work to do, and he's probably driving angry. That was probably a reason he hit 16 as well. I was like, I should be up there. I'm tired of the lost time. Just get out of my way. Make this easy.
See some lap traffic there with the 30. Jeremy Miller completely missing that nose, and this could change things for a second.
24 just not quite able to take advantage yet. He's trying to see how much harder those guys with front bumpers are driving in.
Just watching through this field here, Connor, it seems like some of the drivers that were going to be up here anyway have made it back up there, but so much to factor in from the start to caution, lead change, and penalties. It's a lot to unpack, but you are watching this front five get reeled in. A driver that was leading the race earlier is back up to sixth. He's got him within the reaching distance here.
He's gained time, but like 10 laps ago, he was 4 seconds back, and he's still 4 seconds back to J.R. Shepard. He's gaining on the battle for second. I wouldn't be shocked if he got there, but J.R. Shepard set sail once these two started hitting a little bit for the race lead. It's about 1.5 seconds now. He shows the nose again. Looking at 24, he keeps showing the nose, keeps getting to be inside. As long as McWhorter has enough rear grip to get off of 4, he's not going to make this pass cleanly. Got to be the worst spot to be in. You want to hit him, but you can't wreck him, or else you're probably not racing next week. It just goes to show, don't put yourself in those positions, and then you can be aggressive. But even he just said on the radio that Bailey Turner just said they're wasting time, and I think that's Turner saying, well, you're holding me up, you're letting them get away, and I'm done with it. Even Kenny Kibbe's kind of in the same spot. He's just kind of watching these drivers go. I think eventually Turner's just going to say screw it and end up just wrecking them. Here he goes. Looks to be inside again. Deep dive. Turn number 1. McWhorter's giving a little more room on entry, being like, all right, I don't really want to give up the positions here. Turner can just stay to the inside right here, keep the right front right to the inside, and just get better grip through the center. He can get this pass complete, but it's so hard to get the power down, getting pinched down out of the corner like that. But I think the more alongside he gets into the corners is the better chance he has of completing this pass on the outside of the corner.
But if you're J.R. Shepard right now, you're loving what you're seeing in your mirror. You're pulling away 1.7 seconds, and it continues to grow.
I think Turner, when he got on the radio, I think that maybe gave McWhorter a wake-up call. He's like, all right, I think he's right. I'm going to get myself wrecked doing this. And he raced them and gave him a lot more room and a lot more courtesy. And we'll see if Turner has anything left to fight with. I mean, that was a 20, 30-lap ordeal just trying to get by for the second position. And now he's got to catch back up about 1.5 seconds. Last time by, he was 2.5 tenths faster, so might not all be for nothing.
At that pace, he would definitely catch up to him.
See, this time by, it's another 10th. So right now, he's definitely the faster car, but he's still, at that rate, it's still going to take him about probably 20 laps or so.
And then getting there and passing, two different things. We've seen that a lot tonight.
Still passes trying to happen as well. I mean, Banks is probably going to get the Kibbe at some point. He's going to have to make that pass. Some other battles near the back. Not really near the back, it's just further back from the leader. Elliott Butler, Bryce Shoemaker, they're side by side for the 9th position. Right behind Jeremy Miller, who is off the pace and not moving. This is going to be dicey. 3 wide, 30 chopped the nose of the 54, and the 54 booted him right there. Not too surprised, they're still wrecking. They haven't finished wrecking, and now this is a little bit intentional. And he's going to put him in the inside wall. And this is intentional hitting at, oh, I don't know, 70 miles an hour? Goodness.
We're going to back this up here. We're going to watch them get side by side. I think Bryce Shoemaker getting a little impatient with the 16 to start, and maybe the rest of it got taken out with that chop. Here's the side by side. Not yet. Coming out of 2, I think, is where they get it.
Yeah, 30's a lap down off the pace. This is a battle for inside the top 10. I kind of expected Miller to just pull to the inside to the apron, and then he didn't. So Shoemaker figures, I got to go 3 wide and get around him, and then Miller chops the nose, and I think Shoemaker probably frustrated that he didn't get out of the way at that point, boots him, and then the 30's probably turning his wheel dead left, trying to put Shoemaker into the wall. Then he pulls off there, and then the 54 comes back and said, yeah, I don't like that either. Somehow they didn't get other drivers involved, but pretty uncalled for on both counts, and somehow there wasn't a yellow out of all that. Bryce Shoemaker definitely the bigger loser in that. As meanwhile, at the front, battle for 4th has changed hands. Joshua Banks finally by Kenny Kibbe.
And caught up to the back end of Joseph McWhorter.
See how easy, see if he can make this pass look a little easier than what Bailey Turner did. You know, that battle for the lead, I mean, Turner's still a little bit faster, but he hasn't quite been able to make the same inroads that we were seeing.
Well, and I think maybe J.R. Shepard realized, hey, maybe I should turn it back up a little bit.
Ooh, big dive to the inside. Wow, he was so much faster on entry. That stunned me. I don't know if McWhorter got loose down the backstretch or what, but 35 had so much more pace on entry. He's able to easily make that pass. That is huge as far as maybe Banks even trying to get second away.
And it's 1.9 seconds to Bailey Turner, who's trying to catch J.R. Shepard.
It's not quite over. I mean, J.R. Shepard's going to have to get through a decent bit of lap traffic. I mean, you look right now, the battle for 11th is not that far ahead. I mean, he could end up catching all of that traffic by the end of this race. You could see it off of his roof cam. He got all those cars in a line that he might have to deal with, and that will slow him up. Because that time by, the 24 took another chunk out of that lead.
Communicating on the radio. These guys know leaders are coming. Battle for position here. I don't think Chuck Sweeting just trying to get by the 30. Shepard going to try to follow suit. To the inside. They'll get clear.
That'll probably cost him another 10th or 2. Just not that they're in the way, really. Just even when they're not trying to be in the way, they're going to be in the way. You have to go to a lower line to get by them. It's going to cost you time. Here on a 21:45, and Bailey Turner caught a 10th and a half that lap alone. The only issue, Turner's going to have to deal with that as well, but usually once they get lapped, they kind of fade off a little bit and get out of their way a lot easier for that second place driver.
Down to 1 second.
And look at those brake rotors. They're driving hard into the corner, probably the hardest they've been driving into the corners in this race all day, to the point where the brake rotors on the fronts are glowing big time as Miller just gives way to a 24.
Chuck Sweeting fighting to stay the first car a lap down here. In 18th position, 17 cars still on the lead lap. Caleb Weekly, the next one, with J.R. Shepard catching him. 30 laps to go from Martinsville. And the second half of this race flipped on its head. 55 laps led now for the 98.
And good lap for the 98, a 10th faster than Turner that time by. Now we're at under 30 laps to go. I mean, Turner's going to need tenths per lap at this point and nothing in between. So the more 98 can stretch that lead out before hitting this traffic, the better. The battle for 4th is getting sideways. The battle for 11th is starting to stack up. I mean, that's 11th to 16th all in our lane, which is what J.R. Shepard, I was talking about. That's what he's catching. There's also Joshua Banks still trying to hope for maybe one more chance to get that lead back away and claim this victory that he probably thought should have been his. Try to get that back. That battle for 11th, I don't know what's going to happen because, like I said, you got 6 cars you could get it from Carwell all the way back to Chris Hodges.
It's Bryce Shoemaker that we saw the fireworks with earlier in the 30 of Miller. They're driving hard, like it's hard to gauge here with the rotation.
It seems like it seems like the rear grip is what's gone out the window. It seems like so many drivers out of the corners are lacking rear grip, weaving back and forth down these short straightaways. So I think a lot of drivers have burnt their rear tires out, and it's costing them. Dakota Floyd just made a pass for 22nd. They're 2 laps down, him and Brandon Wallace, but that was a pass for position. But it seems like I wouldn't be surprised. These drivers lacking rear grip, trying to light up the tires, it could spell trouble. And 98's pretty much caught this line of cars. And that's what Bailey Turner's hoping slows him down. Maybe gets him really into the fight.
You got to be meticulous when you navigate lap traffic like this.
I mean, he has
look like he's lost anything yet.
Yeah, last time by, Turner wasn't that much faster. But I mean, this is, you know, with having a 2.5 lead at Martinsville, it's a lot more than what it sounds. I mean, he can take his time. He does not have to force the issue and dive bomb the 15 of Christopher Hodges. I mean, he can take his time through this. It's when Bailey gets within bump and run distance is when he really needs to probably start picking up the pace. But he can be pretty methodical right now. He does not have to force it.
Now they're going to go side by side. That's Jeff Wright to the inside. Bryce Shoemaker. Not a lot happening with the exception of Kenny Kibbe. That's caught up to Joseph McWhorter for the 4th spot.
And I've always got to watch out for Miller getting in their way. Kibbe has been on the bumper of McWhorter for the last 20-30 laps, but Kibbe just can't quite get the grip, get the power down to make this pass work. He's been pretty close a number of times, just not quite able to close the deal.
And I think we just missed a moment there. I think they were 3 wide with a lap car.
Brandon Wallace led everyone by. That's probably why they were 3 wide, as there's almost contact between him and the 54. These are probably the most tense moments that Shepard's going to have through this traffic. He's pretty much gotten through the bulk of it. And then after that, he's probably going to be in a good spot. But Shoemaker's trying to fight this one as hard as he can because he knows he's probably going to get to the 48 rather quickly. As a matter of fact, he's going to get him right here. And now that ends up being a battle for the lucky dog. 98's through pretty much everything he needed to be, and Bailey Turner really hasn't made up the ground he needed to. Matter of fact, 10th faster through traffic J.R. Shepard was that time. It's actually hurting Turner a lot more. This is letting Joshua Banks get a lot closer for second than it is letting Turner get to the lead. J.R. Shepard, he's going to be thinking these last 2 cars, he gets by him, he's home free. That's probably what he's thinking. He's like, oh my gosh, please get me by these guys. Especially since if there is a late race yellow, it's a less amount of cars that are come down on the lead lap and are able to jump them.
Oh, right in front of the leader.
Crash! Stephen Davis and Ryan Carwile for 11th position. What was I just saying? That's the 2nd time I've done that! Oh, goodness, he hit Brandon Wallace as well. Oh, boy. And now J.R. Shepard's thinking, man, wish Connor would shut his mouth. You would think this is going to bring everyone in for tires. We might even see 2 tires this time, but I think you got to take 4. Let's see what happened here. I couldn't tell. Oh, that was just Stephen Davis just wrecking Ryan Carwile. I don't know what that was about. J.R. Shepard has pit. I would assume everyone else is going to pit. Looks like they are, but yeah, that was just Stephen Davis wrecking the 71. That was a complete miscalculation. I can't imagine it was intentional. Well, this is the reset Jeff Wright, or not Jeff Wright. This is a reset Joshua Banks needed, that's for sure.
Jeff Wright's going to stay out here and try to get a
wave around
here.
Yeah, there's pretty much everyone who was a lap down is going to take the wave and be on an ice rink. Did Bailey Turner take 2 or did he take 4? He took 4. He's just very far back there. J.R. Shepard out first pretty easily. 24 is going to get second easily. Then Banks. Then Elliott Butler. I don't know who got 4th. That was close. It might have been the 73. And then Elliott Butler is going to be 5th. Can confirm the 35 did not speed that time, so that's a positive. What does this flip the whole race on its head now?
4 tires though, and J.R. Shepard's proven that he can lead the laps and pull away from Bailey Turner. But man, it was another race for him to go to victory lane. Now he's going to have to contend with Turner and Banks on the rear bumper for these last 10 or so laps. Let's see if we can go back and take another look at what happened there with Stephen Davis real quick.
Let's see. Gotta get it quick as we are going green. Just looked like Stephen Davis lost track of where his pit entry, or his corner entry was, and just wrecked Ryan Carwile. That's all I saw there. We'll see if Turner has anything for Shepard this time. I mean, I think he was faster at one point than the 98, but he just lost the tires battling McWhorter.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to find that in time. So we're just going to take it green. 12 laps to go from Martinsville with J.R. Shepard into turn 1. He's going to have his hands full.
24 got a pretty good run. If he could get to the inside, he might have a chance, but just couldn't quite clear Joshua Banks. He is a lot better right now in the short run. He almost got to the 98's right rear. He almost made contact. That might be 3 wide for the lead. Banks dive bomb. They're going to crash. Bailey Turner hard to the outside wall off the bumper of Joshua Banks. And the guy who's led the last 70 or so laps has crashed in the wall. Oh boy. That is a shame. It just seemed like J.R. Shepard couldn't fire off well on the new tires compared to both Banks and Turner. And I guess Shepard gets caught in no man's land, and I guess Banks maybe saw an opportunity, and he just straight up threw it in there and turned him. I mean, I didn't see a chance for 3 wide working in any scenario there, and he just takes out poor J.R. Shepard and Bailey Turner. That puts Jeff Wright back in a scenario where he could win this regular season title with the 24 junked. I don't know if he was trying to go 3 wide or he just missed the corner. Because from that far back, that's never going to work. Ever. It's just... kind of just see it coming. I mean, there's no scenario where that was going to work. And the 2 best cars on the 2 other best cars in this race are wrecked because of it. That puts Joseph McWhorter back in position into that 2nd spot. But now, after that, you got who's arguably the fastest car back in the lead. So that's going to be tough to get him, I would think.
Well, Connor, I have a lot to say about all of that.
But you won't?
But I won't.
That's my job anyways, I guess. I don't get paid to be silent. I get paid to talk. At least
Yeah,
I think I do. I might need to check my contract. I might need to get my contract, check my contract with that, and make sure that is what I am supposed to do.
Yeah, with with what we just witnessed here, we're doubled back up. We still have lights on the pace car. I don't think we've seen the end of that.
I remember season 1 all the way back there in season 1, which I say all the way back there, is really 2 years ago. It ended in chaos too. I mean, we saw AJ Stravado give the bumper to some drivers. Chad Klinger led 179 laps. He ended up losing that race to Stravado. That ended under yellow. And I mean, who knows what's going to happen? We've seen McWhorter involved in things today. We saw the 35 involved. It's a completely different scenario in the top 10. Philip Brewer's in 4th. He got Lakatos in 6th. I mean, this is still far from over.
But it's going to be 6 laps to go here from Martinsville. We have 3 overtimes if we need them. Banks, McWhorter, Kibbe, Brewer, and Butler into turn 1. Back underway.
McWhorter fired it into 1, trying to get that right rear. Is able to stay in that 2nd position, but Banks is able to get that drive off to kind of get away from McWhorter a little bit.
They're going to brake as late as they can here. McWhorter going to get right up on the bumper, coming off of 4.
You're going to use up all the rear tires this time. If you have any rear grip, you're going to use it. Maybe try to get to the bumper of a 35. We've seen these two cross paths at the end of a race before.
5 to go. They tick away quickly.
Shepard and Jeff Wright make contact. 2 leaders in the modified division. And I just don't think McWhorter has the pace the 35 has right now. Fastest lap of the race that time by to a driver of a 35.
It's going to get the 3 to go mark here. Out wide there for the 44 Brewer.
Gonna let Lakatos maybe have a shot at.
Problems in the back.
Oh, we got a car almost upside down. That was Jeremy Miller, who was on top of a car, and they somehow didn't wreck. I think him and Hunter Sr. had contact. Still green, come to 2 to go.
Kibbe gonna be taken out wide. He's sliding.
He's a little bit faster than McWhorter. He just can't properly set that pass up to get by the 73. And it's let Joshua Banks scoot away, and not so fast. The caution is out. And finally, it's the 30 of Jeremy Miller that's gotten spun. And I believe he had some help from whoever was under him when we last saw him. And Joshua Banks is not quite done yet. He's got a few. He was on top of a car.
We saw that a moment ago.
Yeah, that was self-explanatory. Hard hit.
Let's see if we can back this up further.
It's not been the return to a series Miller wanted. Let's say that lightly.
This is moments before the contact that brought out the yellow.
I thought he was flipping. I guess he did. They somehow didn't bring out the yellow, but I thought he was flipping. I believe Miller's laps down. Senior looked like came down the track there, and then Miller got put almost on his side. That looked like, to me, the 02 came down off the corner, but clearly he didn't see it like that. Let's see, I mean, yeah, the 02's a groove down off the outside. I don't think that was Miller's fault, but I could see Hunter Sr.'s frustration. I believe the 02's lead. The 02 is a 1 lap down, right? He might have been lead lap, but currently showing 1 lap down and the 30's 2 down, so they weren't racing for position. Regardless.
Well, at that point, he's seeing red.
I mean, that's what you. I mean, yeah, the hot dogs are red, so he's seeing those after the race. But yeah, it's pretty obvious. I just don't know if the punishment for that crime, but I assumed he thought the 30 should have been out of the way, just like Bryce Shoemaker thought that, and he decided to take matters into his own hands as Joseph McWhorter, Kenny Kibbe to get 1 more shot at the 35. It's just if you don't, what we've seen with the 73, if he doesn't get a restart where he's on the bumper of Joshua Banks in the next set of corners, he's not going to get him.
Well, we're double back up for overtime attempt number 1. I guess I'll just hand the floor to you and try to keep up with the buttons at this point, Connor.
Good luck with that. We've got to get to the white flag first, and anything can happen because we still have about 20 cars lead lap, 17 to be exact.
Pace car's off. Here we go. Green, white, checkered, number 1. 2 to go at the stripe. Banks, a rocket ship into 1.
And McWhorter just couldn't quite get the launch he needed to clear Kenny Kibbe, and he missed the corner, slipped up. It's going to let Kibbe get a shot. They're already crashed in turn 1. They didn't even make it to turn 1. Christopher Hodges, Chuck Sweeting, Angel Horonis. Ooh. We'll get the number 2. And Hodges got Hodges and Sweeting, and then Horonis Sr. Not quite anything they could do. See, 16 doesn't go, kind of stacks them up, and Hodges hits the brakes, and Chuck Sweeting just can't react. That'll happen. You have stack ups into a corner. I mean, that's bound to happen. This will be a different restart this time because now you're going to have Kenny Kibbe. He benefited from that greatly. He's able to get that second position. So not the restart McWhorter needed.
I'm watching Philip Brewer in the background here.
Still could sweep.
Yeah.
Don't believe anyone's done it yet.
Nope.
He's definitely been the closest because he's fast in both series. I mean, like we've been saying, he's been a dominant driver in the Challenger Series. He led all but 22 laps tonight at Bristol.
Different animal here, flat. And you're always guaranteed to get into somebody at some point in this race. We watched
even the leader.
Even the leader.
Poor J.R. Shepard, he might have been the only one who hadn't hit anyone in a race. I'm not quite sure, but he's got no front end to show for it. However, we got 2 modifieds in the top 10 still with the 98 and the 48, both no front end, both in the top 10.
Double back up. Green, white, checkered attempt number 2. 1 overtime wasn't enough. 200 laps wasn't enough. We're going to go to 210. Get 2 to go at the stripe.
I believe the race here in season 1, we actually went 217 laps, and that was with green, white, checkered. See what Kibbe can do on the outside here. He has to launch right when Banks does. Ooh, McWhorter got the jump.
Not another good restart on the outside.
And McWhorter the shot back to him if he can get to the 35, but Banks had a good launch off of 2.
It's going to be official this time. I think they're going to make it off of turn 4. Joshua Banks just has 1 more lap.
See, McWhorter can get a good run out of 2. Is he going to risk it? He hit the curb a little bit, but if he wants to risk it, he could. I just think he's too far back.
I don't think he has anything for him. Joshua Banks is going to come off of turn 4. Joshua Banks is going to find victory lane in the last race of the regular season.
I believe Jeff Wright's going to win the regular season title, but Banks was only 13 back. It might have been close, but won't be his most popular victory, but for Banks, it's his 3rd victory of the season nonetheless. No doubt he was maybe the fastest car.
Congratulations, though, to the 35. I know that this one's probably going to have some apologies in the post-race interviews, but there is the 35 car. As we've wrapped up our 210 laps at Martinsville. Don't go anywhere. Post-race coverage with your top three and those final race results. Interviews coming up. You're watching Saturday Night Racing League presented by M&J Distributors. Back with more on VSPEED right after this.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Drivers, start your printers.
To keep pace with the ever-changing landscape of marketing and advertising, let Clark Print Shop help you spot the trends and keep you in front of the pack with all your color printing needs. From business cards to invitations, menus to mugs, we can print anything you need on paper or your choice of over 3,000 promotional items. Visit www.clarkprintshop.com to browse our online catalog and place your order today, or call us at 276-889-3426. For a limited time, use the code iRacing for 23% off your first purchase. The staff at Clark Print Shop looks forward to handling all your color printing needs.
Walking and Rolling Costumes started when my son Reese was born with cancer.
So when I was 3 years old, I got my first wheelchair.
And he wanted to be Wall-E for Halloween that year. And so I knew you couldn't buy a costume to go on a wheelchair at that time. So I knew I had to build one.
My dad ended up building a Wall-E costume out of a Dell computer box.
When we were all finished, he loved it. We took pictures of it and shared it on social media. So many people started sharing it that we started getting requests from people we didn't know.
In 2015, we decided to build them for other kids because people were asking, hey, can you build them for my kid?
So we started the nonprofit organization, Walking and Rolling Costumes, and we build costumes for kids all over the nation, free of charge to the families.
Back here live at Martinsville, and 200 laps wasn't enough. We had to extend this race by 10 laps, 5 miles, and we found Joshua Banks back to the front of this field. Several different leaders and several different cautions. The variety of parking lots to broken fenders, self-spins, missed shifts. The admins are going to be busy. 14 cautions and 7 lead changes. Final results up on your screen. So there's your top 3. And, I mean, it was back and forth all night tonight, Connor, with Joshua Banks, McWhorter, Kibbe, Lakatos. I mean, you could put any one of these guys up here at some point in the race. And the names that we'll continue to talk about, the day only gets worse and worse. Elliott Butler, going to finish in 6th. Nick Hapiak claws his way to 7th. There's J.R. Shepard, who was leading the last 50, 60 laps of this race. Had it by a probably a second and a half, navigated the lap traffic, and just when he got to the last two cars, caution comes out. He gets 3 wide there on a late race restart. That's all I have to say about it. Matt Shinosky is going to finish in 9th with Jeff Wright and his modified, bringing it home in the top 10.
Unofficially, he should be the regular season champion, but Joshua Banks might have made it close. We'll get official word at some point for sure, but he toughed it out for 10th. Bryce Shoemaker, he had the contact with the lap car Miller. He was able to get 11th place out of it. Caleb Weekly, who should be in the chase after Ben Lafter crashed out early, 12th position for him. Stephen Davis, 13th. He was one of those drivers who brought out that yellow where J.R. Shepard was leading. Brian Carwile, tough night for him, 14th. Chuck Sweeting, he battled back from at least 2 laps down for 15th. Chris Hodges, 16th. Angelo Horonis, kind of an off night for him, but he had damage as well. Who didn't have damage, really? 17th for him. Last driver on the lead lap. Then Eddie Trejo, 18th. Hunter Sr., who had the clash with Miller as well, in 19th. And there's Miller, who had a rough night, to say the least. 20th position.
Moving back to 21st spot with Brandon Wallace, and the 99 car, I think, was involved in everything here on this Saturday night. He was involved in everything over at Bristol as well. Just couldn't catch a break. Bailey Turner, early exit. Cy in the chat. Dakota Floyd, Heinz Ketchup, caught up in 2 of those log jams, I guess, through the end of the straightaways. 57 car, going to finish 23rd. Then you have the 22 machine of Michael Jones finishing in 24th. James Lehman, another one of these cars, and I said the days get worse and worse. He started on the pole here tonight. He's going to end up finishing in 25th. Ben Latter lost the front end of his car. He ends up behind the wall 104 laps down. Chad Klinger, the race never even got going for him. He ends up with a penalty and has to come down pit road. Thought he had recovered, got back up front. Heavy damage on that machine. Austin Belkey in 28th position. Bryce Calusa is going to finish 29th, and it's Rob Ham for 30th. The last car, John Sanu, electing not to grid here tonight. He ends up 213 laps down, which is physically impossible.
Cleanest car.
Cleanest car. We'll give him that.
Sure, he'll take it.
With that, though, it's time to go down to the track and find your race winner. I believe Connor Horn has caught up with Joshua Banks.
Yeah, it's Joshua Banks. He's the race winner. He led 90 laps out of, I believe, 210 that we had tonight. And Joshua, definitely, I could imagine, probably more of a subdued celebration. You were leading the race, got the lead away. Then he had the speeding penalty, got back to 3rd, then the yellow come out. And obviously the big moment was with 11 to go. Just take us through that restart with the 98-24 and what you were seeing.
If you want a driver's perspective, I guess you could say, is that I saw a hole that I thought I could take at the moment. And when I was in the cockpit, the car, JR looked closer than what I actually was. And I didn't realize Bailey was entering the corner and on top of his outside in the corner. So it made it look even worse. So it's just a dumb boom by me, getting over aggressive. We have plenty of time. I'm not happy with this win, and you can tell it sucks that we ended up like that. I was hoping to run this thing green and race it to the end, but here we are. I mean, victory lane, yay, but not the way you want it to go.
Definitely a tough way to end it, and unofficially, there's no bonus points or penalty points given yet. Unofficially, you took the lead in the standings. Obviously, that could possibly change, but either way, even with the contact, as yes, we got an interview to do, but you had a fast car. Obviously, you got around the 05 the hard way, got the lead away. Let's just give you a moment here.
Sorry, my daughter's going nuts.
You're all good. We'll try to make this a little quicker. You obviously got the lead away on the outside. Very fast car. Obviously, you sped, but you still got all the way up to the top 3, even if that late yellow didn't come out. What made you fast tonight? Because clearly you had a leg up on almost everyone.
Yeah, it just started clicking, dude. And plus, putting in some practice laps for sure helped, figuring things out, figuring out the line. And and then of course tonight, the way the car handled on exit, it was very loose. So early on I was learning that burning the rears off definitely hurts you. So if you could keep it straight down the straight, longer the run, you're better off. So definitely had to learn that, but it was fun working through the field when cleanly. So yeah, it was fun overall for the 189 laps. It was some good. I know we had our cautions. It's Martinsville, but we did have good green flag runs, and it made Martinsville fun tonight. So aside from that, it was pretty good, I think, overall.
If it looked fun, it was fun seeing you get from the back to the front. Even without that yellow is going to be a good finish. But obviously a tough way to win the race, but win nonetheless. So you got that. I believe you're third on the season, and you got your sponsors and team sponsor, driver sponsors. Anyone else to shout out?
I'm not going to shout out anybody tonight. I'm just obviously the sponsors for hopping on board, and you guys, and the admins. But I just publicly apologize, J.R. Shepard and Bailey Turner for the bonehead move, I'm gonna call it, to going into one. And I'm just gonna, it is just a race, but we out here, real people racing. So, we kind of come into each every week, take this kind of seriously, and race like we would if we were in real life racing. So I just want to publicly apologize to everybody, their team, everybody, because that's not what we should be doing as a race car driver. And I preached on it, other races where you try not to be someone who takes people out, and then here I am doing it. So just don't practice what you preach, and I didn't do it. So again, I apologize, and move on to next week, and hopefully be smarter and do better trying to race at people at the end of the race.
And next week, not a short track. We go to Kansas. Regardless, you will be in the chase. You'll be fighting for your second championship. And, regardless of how it happened, it is your third one on the season. Congrats on that, at least, Joshua. Thanks for talking to us. I know you kind of got to go, and I know it was a rough night, but you at least got the victory to go for you. We will see you hopefully next week at Kansas.
All right, buddy. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. It's not really surprising to see how apologetic he was. It was interesting to hear the insight that, it's kind of like we race iRacing too, and we've heard that before. I saw a gap and it just wasn't there when I got there. I mean, we've heard that a lot of times.
Yeah. I mean, we've been guilty of it as well. And for every lap you turn, there's another chance for that to happen. I'm sure that after this one, I think everyone's just going to delete this place from their mind. The nebulizer from Men in Black is what's coming up at the end of this broadcast, so everybody be prepared.
That's one way to put it as well. And like I said, I mentioned in his interview, unofficially, the standings have him 2 points ahead of Jeff Wright, but usually you get penalized for causing yellows. I'm sure he'll probably get the penalty points for that, and Jeff Wright should be the regular season champion. But we'll have all that for you next week, as Bradley, you are catching up with our runner-up, Joseph McWhorter.
Yeah, it was the deneuralizer, I think, is what I was actually looking for. And yeah, so subliminally, we're going to stare at the screen here for another 5 minutes. And Joseph McWhorter's going to chat with us about what a up and down roller coaster day this whole race was, from missing a shift to late race restarts. I mean, what was your take on this one?
I mean, the I don't know, the race kind of started off really bad because, I mean, Chad was wanting us to check up, and I was side by side with Jeff, and I got to his quarter panel because he checked up, and then he just turned across my nose and gave me damage, and so I tried to fix it, and then I went through the gears like normal, got into fourth gear, and I know I was in fourth gear, and it just stuck in neutral. I popped it out, put the clutch back in, went back and forth again and again and again. And I couldn't get it to go in gear. I got it down into third. And then about that time that I finally got it back into gear is about the time that I got hit from behind. I just stayed in lane, hoping that they would just work their way to my inside as I was trying to get it to go. I don't know if it was an issue with the shifter or if it was iRacing. I haven't had that kind of an issue in a very long time where it's in gear, but it's not reading. So, yeah, it was kind of aggravating. So we ended up having like almost 5 minutes of damage. We got it down to 3.5. We had those two accidents with the 89 and the 57. The 57 got in the wall, and we got into him, which was kind of unfortunate. I wasn't expecting that to happen. He just slowed down so fast. Rebounded pretty good and looked like we had a shot. But with how much damage that I had, I was just really tight and kind of using that right rear up to make it turn. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm just, I guess there's some things to be said about what I watched there with the 35 and the 98 and the 24. That was, I mean, I got my butt put on the fire for barely making contact with Jeff at Charlotte, and then we turned right back around and watched something like that, and I don't know. I don't know. I kind of just ready for this season to be over. Just, I don't know. Just I don't really have any motivation.
Well,
No, I
let's
mean we've come so close so many times this season, but it's either a late race caution screws us, we get hit by somebody, or we get in a wreck. So I don't know.
well, let's go back to, talking about how last season and, compared to this one and different cars, different tracks, different styles. And now it feels like, okay, we're kind of back on track, but compared to your championship season, this one has just kind of been that emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, we were running really good, leading laps at Daytona. We get wrecked on pit road. We go into what was it next week? Oh man, let's see. I mean, we go into Las Vegas. We run second. We had a good night there, just a little bit shy. I think we had the speed to win that one, just ran out of time. Auto Club, it looked like we were the car to beat. We get doored by 24 and have damage and then lose track position. Rockingham, we run second again. Charlotte looks like we're going to win, but we have a late race caution that screws us because I wasn't expecting two tires to work. And I mean, Pocono, play the strategy. We're good on fuel. Looks like we've got a huge lead over the 24. Looks like we're going to win. Caution comes out. Dover, random wreck. Kentucky. It's just, all season long. I don't know what to do. I've been leading laps. I've been insanely fast. I don't know. I don't know. It's such a weird feeling whenever you know that you have speed, but it seems like every single week it's just something happening to cause the win to slip away. We had such a good car at Chicagoland and get wrecked in a pissing match. Like I don't know.
Well, Joseph, I know a lot of people put this car on the racetrack. So with that, go ahead and shout those guys out.
Yeah, first and foremost, I want to thank Outlier Speed Co. Amazing partner, not only of me, but you guys as well. So go check out Outlier Speed Co. in the description below. Go get you some amazing setups. We just won a championship with them on Friday nights. Johnny and the boys have been doing such good work, and you've gotten to meet Johnny now, and you know how much passion he has for it. So go check them out, outlierspeedco.com. Red Camel Racing, fire suit, shoes, helmets, anything you need for a race weekend, go check them out at redcamelracing.com. 29 Graphics, beautiful paint scheme you get to see each and every week. Go check him out on Trading Paints 29 Graphics. You guys for the broadcast, you guys do an amazing job no matter the league. All the drivers for a good race, the admins for the hard work, and ready to get into the playoffs.
Moving on to the chase format at Kansas. We'll see you in 7 days' time.
Yes, sir. See you guys next week.
Joseph McWhorter, second place here tonight. Started in 6th, gained 4 spots. We have one more driver to talk to before we wrap things up for the regular season. It's Kenny Kibbe in the number 14. Several restarts there at the end. It kept clocking, track kept changing. It was hot, but somehow you were able to salvage the day.
Yeah, honestly, I just tried to keep my track position all day long. We started in the top 10, and I really just needed to not have a terrible day. I wanted to make sure I was in the top 16 for the chase, and I had like a 29-point gap or something. So I just wanted to have an okay day, and didn't get off to a great start with, I slightly missed a shift, stacked up the field. I'm sorry to anybody who got involved in that in the initial start, but after that, we just kind of went to work just trying to hold our own, and that's really what we did, and just the chaos just all around us, and we were able to come out with a good finish. I got some damage pretty early on, and I think that kind of affected the handling on the car, but I'm just happy to come out of the other side of this one on a positive.
But don't feel bad about the missed shift. You weren't the only one to do that here tonight, and number of reasons for it. I know a lot of guys were at odds and couldn't believe that it happened, and other guys were kind of confused as to why something like that happened multiple times. So I mean, up here in the booth, we watched great racing, and then we saw some not so great racing. Kenny, it's just one of those moments this track kind of produces.
Yeah, I know in my case, my shift was just lazy. I mean, I'm running an H pattern shifter, and my shift was just kind of lazy, and it got caught in neutral before it actually engaged into fourth. And I got into fourth pretty quick, but by then it stacked field up. But yeah, as far as the racing, like the racing up front was not too bad. I think a lot of the incidents happened, behind where I was most of the day. And that's why I just tried to make minimal amount of pit stops and just try to stay up front as long as I could. The tire fall off wasn't too crazy lap time wise. So I just wanted to stay up at the front and do what I could.
Well, Kenny, you accomplished it. You come home with a podium. You wrap up the regular season, looking on to the chase format at Kansas. Got a lot of racing left to be done here. Yeah, for sure. I think, I think Talladega's in there, which that kind of scares me, being kind of a wild card. But the other races I think really suit my style, and I think I'll have some pretty good pace. I missed 2 races, so this season, that's why I was as close as it was in the points. So we're past that now, and I should make the last 5. And we've had really good pace this year, just haven't always had the results to show for it. There's been some races where we've been taken out really early and really haven't been able to show what we can do. So as long as we can actually get a chance to race, I think we might have a good shot at some success. Anybody you got in mind that put the 14 car back up here in the 3rd spot? Yeah, I just want to thank everybody in SNRL. I know the admins are going to have a heck of a time going through the race review tonight. So thanks to them for putting everything together every week. You guys at VSPEED with the awesome broadcasts every week. My teammates, we had Matt Chinoski finish the top 10. JR Shepard, our other teammate, got recovered to the top 10. He really probably should have won this thing. That move at the end from Banks was pretty ridiculous. But we move on. And thanks everybody who watches me live on Twitch every week. And special shout out to, I have a family friend named Jack Beardsley who's just got diagnosed with brain cancer, and he's not doing so hot. So he's a big racing fan, and I've been really racing hard for him lately. So we'll give this one to him. There you have it. And again, any links or anything that you have, feel free to share them with me. I'll try to get the word out on that as well. And thoughts and prayers to him. And we appreciate you coming up here and talking to us, Kenny. Sounds good, guys. Kenny Kibbe, 3rd place here at Martinsville. And that's what overtime sounds like. A lot of discouraged people here, Connor. It just didn't come to fruition. We had a decent race going there for, I'd say, the bottom half of it. It had cleaned up a lot, but I think more to attrition than anything. And then we got what we got there at the end.
I think you're going to get the late yellows at Martinsville. I think if you take away the 3 separate instances where drivers running in the top 10 missed a shift, including the initial start, I think it was a pretty good race for Martinsville standards. The grip fell off. I mean, we never even mentioned the tire fall off, but we got to run pretty darn long. And just looking at J.R. Shepard's time, who he was the race leader, the beginning of that very long run that ended with about 15 laps to go. I mean, he was running about, I would say, in about the 20.3s, and by the end of that run, he was a full second off. That long run was great. The racing was, I thought, astounding. The lap traffic came into play, which is classic Martinsville. You had some drivers coming through the field. You had some drivers kind of dropping and holding drivers up. Great battle for second. But like you mentioned, those late yellows, moved by Banks. Even he said it himself. He wasn't happy about it, and it definitely sounded like the guys who finished behind him, 2nd and 3rd, weren't happy about it. I think if you would have thought McWhorter might be thinking he should have won the race, but I don't think they're going to do it like that. But just another case of Saturday Night Racing League, I suppose. 2nd race at Martinsville. We'll see if we get a 3rd one in the near future. But besides the missed shifts, I thought it was a Martinsville race, and I thought it was pretty good. And that was the regular season finale. Unofficially, we have our top 16. Caleb Weekly jumps Ben Laughter. Other than that, the 16 that entered today stay the same besides that change, and we're on to the chase. And next week, we're on to Kansas and Texas.
November 15th at 7:45 for the Challenger Series, 10 p.m. start for the Cup Series. You can catch all the action for the chase here on VSPEED. that's going to do it for us here from Martinsville up in the broadcast booth. I'd like to thank Dougie Beard for the camera packs provided here tonight. If you did enjoy tonight's broadcast, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I promise you, Texas and Kansas will be much, much better. For everybody here at VSPEED, Adam Baker, Eddie Smith, Morgan Cook, our owners, my co-commentator, Connor Horn. This is Bradley Cooper saying so long to the regular season. It's time for the chase. Saturday Night Racing League coming back next week. Stay tracking, everybody.